Hi. I often think of being a doula and doula's role and pleasure. Well, I'm Deborah Pascal, been a documentary orgasmic birth, but as many of you know, I'm a doula trainer and get so blessed to travel around the world. And I am in Austria today and so honored to be here with a friend. We've been collaborating together for more than 20 years. Angelika Rodler has just been amazing. She's the head of the Doulas of Austria. She's a childbirth educator, feeding, and she, like me, has a passion for pleasure. So we've been having a lot of fun over the years. So welcome to our podcast, Angelika. It's truly a pleasure to have you
Yeah,
joining me.
so thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here in my home and hear about all the good things you're doing all over the world. So you bring the doula sun in my house and a lot of pleasure.
Oh, we have fun together. And what you're seeing is just a glimpse behind me. Angelika and her family has built this beautiful retreat center in their home called Delicia. So if you're curious here, you're going to have to take a peek another time in and how that brought you to all that you're doing.
Yeah, so I love that. So I was a mother with 20 years, and I was really trying to get good information about the possibilities I would have in Graz to have my first child. And there was a birth unit with a private midwife, there were home birth midwives, but there was also this big hospital. And so people said to me, oh, babies come out without additional costs. Our insurance pays for the hospital, but we pay for the midwife at home. And they say, oh, you can spend your money on holidays, go to the hospital, they do a good work, and then you're home, so you don't need a midwife or a home birth. So I was young and my husband too, so I went to the hospital and it was not that bad, yeah, but I received all the help I felt in my young age that I didn't need. So it was a totally normal birth under 4 hours, so a really quick one. And I can remember that in this short time, they did so many interventions that I thought, yes, birth was not so bad. I could do it, but all the things I never will do it on the back with all the,
Wires and yeah.
everything, and the episiotomy. And so I was sure 2.5 years later, when I became pregnant the second time, that I would like to have a home birth. So I decided, and I brought my husband, luckily, on my side, that a home birth with midwives is safe and pleasure. And so I had my first birth at home, and it was also an easy, wonderful birth. And after that, my sister-in-law asked me to attend her hospital birth. So, if you are the one in the family who knows anything about birth, then you are a wise woman with 22 or 23. So I had the chance to be again in the same hospital, but then as a doula, the sister-in-law, yeah? But I came in this room as a person, and I left it as a different, as a changed woman. So I sat on this place close to her head, and I was not allowed to help like we do today to give advice for positions. So she was only on her back like I was 4 years ago, and she was giving birth. I don't have so many memories because it was also a totally uncomplicated birth with all the. But I thought, wow, I didn't think that I would enjoy this so much. So it was really, do you know? So I
Yes.
think many people have this moment. They have it maybe with animals they like especially, and no, I want to go for this kind of animals, yeah, or I love to help people in these situations. And it was, this is what I'm made for. So I went home, and being a mom, young children, thought, okay, that's everything I knew. But I'm so happy that they told me, because I was known as a birth activist, they would not take me. So they really said, are you working for this mother baby organization? And I said, yes, I'm working for that. And they said, no, go home. We don't like people who are organizing
How's that?
parents. Yeah, but this was at the early 90s. So back a long time. And I'm so happy that we found out only a few months later that there is the term doula. So a friend of mine, she said, "Ah, I was just finding out a name for what you love so hard." Yeah. And I read about you and your organization. So yeah, so before Google, before YouTube, it was so great to know that there is an organization building something like doula. So, and from this moment on, I called myself doula, and I educated myself as a, not myself, but my organizations to be what you said, birth educator and breastfeeding advisor. And I was organizing conferences and did a lot of things to influence the birth culture. So you was there
Yes,
at the beginning,
at the
so 12
beginning.
conferences, it was great. But I thought at this time that conferences and helping midwives and doing all this, so bringing in all these new ideas to the German-speaking countries for the very first time. I thought, come and tell them what they know about birth and what influenced me so much, everything will change. Yeah. But this was the young Angelika. And then, yeah. So I found out you can bring a lot of wisdom into a community. Change needs persons who have the resources.
Yes.
And we can influence them sometimes, but we cannot turn them around. So when I started training doulas 10 years after I founded the first Austrian doula project in 1994, so 10 years I worked as a doula with friends of mine before I started the training. So at this time I thought that's the best way to really change the world, and one birth at a time. So it's not the big change, but it's a big change in the memories of the family and for us as female collective. And this time I was right.
Yes.
So doula is a solution. It's a big solution. It's what we can do. Yeah. And I'm still a birth activist, and I still like it.
Yes.
After many frustrations, I still like to stand for the women and their voice. But the big change are the doulas outside there, are you and all the people who do doula work all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah. What a great story, right? And I know you all this time. I knew some of it, but not all of it. So that
Yeah.
was really beautiful to hear.
Yeah. And this, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is what I tell all women when they say, "Oh, how will I find mothers to attend birth?" Yeah, but it's easy. You tell that you're a doula. People hear that, and I hear so many stories. They come by train to the training and find people who say, "Oh, I just made my pregnancy test. Not my partner does not know that I'm pregnant. You're the first person to tell because you are to become a doula. Would you like to be mine?" You know, people's stories like that, I
Yeah.
have goosebumps because I really know that the world is waiting for doulas.
Yes.
And so this was also my story. One after woman after another came and liked to be part of the change in the birth culture in their own life.
Yes. And you've trained so many doulas. So I'd love for you to just share. I mean, I'm blessed to be here right now. We just had two great doula groups, but your workshops are really unique. And I get to come in and just see the great work that they've already done. Can you just explain briefly how long your doula workshops are and what are some of the topics in it?
Yeah. So for me, when I was really asked by the women in Austria to start a doula training, I thought I cannot do it without Donna, because Donna brings in all this new research. Penny Simkin, which is now a true goddess in heaven.
Yes.
Yeah, but she was it for the doula movement, and I always felt safe following Donna's advice, and especially your advice, which was really a great role model. And I think one reason why the doulas in Austria are such a great group of women is because they say after years, oh, if I am at trouble, I think, what would Debra do? So to build on
What an
Donna,
honor,
and
yes.
especially on your wisdom, yeah, and your words, had really given me the brave heart to do something like that, yeah. So, and also Anna May Gaskin was in every doula training. So one model was hers until she became 81. So then we totally understood that she's not traveling for us, but have her as a doula trainer for over 20 years was also adding a lot of wisdom to a doula group and strength.
Yes.
And then I thought, with these two people in boat, I need to add the things that are specific for the Austrian birth culture, because you cannot take an American model, as good as it is. And we have a totally different midwifery culture. We have this long ancient line in midwifery, and our hospital system and everything is different. So that's why I add some really important topics, also intercultural awareness, and so things I thought would help us to understand our role as doulas better, because it's not that hard to be a good doula, you know? We all know that.
Yes.
A relatively short time, you need to find the right moves, and yeah, but there is a lot of things to understand, to be a really helpful and respectful additional person to the birth cycle. And something that was always very sacred to me was to give them the opportunity to explore their own body, their needs, their desires to be with women, to talk about their cycle, to understand why the birth culture is like that, and that it's not only the others that do strange things, that, you know. Yeah, it would be great if we women would be so healing, sacred, good with our body, so that we can say, oh, these guys are doing wrong, but we know everything. So there is so much shame. There is
so much shame.
So much. So why do we allow them to offer us this as a birth culture?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been conditioned, right? we've sterilized birth and really stripped women of their power and their pleasure, which is part of, what I love, that you're connecting the doulas to their body, to removing shame. And so I have to ask you to share, because this is she does many great exercises, but one thing Angelika does, you're so creative in making things. You actually make this beautiful pussy or yoni to help women really understand their body. Can you share?
Yeah, but I have to share this story. Why
Okay.
do I do this handcraft?
Yeah, why?
Because usually I like more to do things like that. Yeah. Michel Audin always tells us to do the knitting
Knitting at birth.
at birth for midwives and doulas.
Yes.
Because this is really a great enhancer of the energy in the room, And I tried it. I really tried it. Even I'm not a great knitter, a great one. Yeah? So I only did it at school. But if Michel Audin tells me to do that,
Yes.
Yes.
You have to pay attention.
Yeah, you have to pay attention. So I thought, okay, Michel, I'm the knitting person at birth. And then I found out, I'm sure he never did this. Yeah? No. Because even a try, you have these two needles and all this. And if a woman says, please give me water, or she wants a new whatever,
you're stuck.
You're stuck. It falls down. Everything goes down from the needle. So I thought, Michelle, great advice, but not on the technique.
Yes.
So I decided to do the
crochet.
Yeah. So I was crocheting in the birth yard, but boring things. Like for my little daughter, her dolls, some clothes. Yeah. But I still thought, Michelle, it's not because of the thing I do, it's because I know then the vibrations coming from me at times where the mother is sleeping or resting, or being with her husband or partner. Great job. Yeah. And then I heard one evening from a doctor in France who said that too many women know how their clitoris looks like and that they cannot describe how big it is. They only know this little dot, and some don't even find that. So, and at the same moment, I heard a voice in my head, and I don't hear often voices in my head. Yeah. But the voice said, you will only save what you love. Yeah. And so I had goosebumps and I thought, that's the answer. Yeah. So why can the episiotomy rate be that high? Yeah. So if partners and women, of course, would know what happens to their clitoris maybe if they do the episiotomy. Yeah. So, and they would really love their body.
Yes. Why?
They would say,
don't cut me.
Yeah. Don't cut me. Yeah. So really, because this is what I love. Yeah. So we need more love for our yonis.
Yes, way
And
more love for our yonis.
We feel our love, we have to maybe know more about the anatomy and the pleasure it can bring in our life and the trust for our body. And that's why I decided to make one of these and find out how it works. Because I had the vision that every woman should do her own. Yeah. So because there is not one pussy. Yeah. You can say, but
they're all beautiful.
Does not look like mine.
Right.
Yeah. So I wish the girls or women in our age. Yeah.
Yes.
So many didn't have a look at it.
Never.
Yeah. So in one of my future classes, we will sit with a mirror. Yeah. And then we all make our own pussies. And that's why I made maybe 30 or 40 or 50, because I couldn't yet find out how to standardize the basic model, to continue. But maybe somebody is hearing it and says, oh, that's easy, let's do it. So we are so hard waiting for it.
Yes, we are.
We are so hard
We'd
waiting.
love for you to share how you make your pussy like this. But look, and if you're not on YouTube, you got to come over to YouTube to see right now.
Yeah. So this is one with not a double lip, it has only one. Yeah. And there we have the clitoris, and there we have the vagina. Yeah. And then you can play it like a puppet.
I love this part. Talk to the pussy. And I love this because what would your pussy say? Especially every day, but what would your pussy say in birth to the way people treat you?
Yeah.
Hopefully you have kind, loving care and beautiful providers that are really supporting you and your intimacy.
Yeah. So this would be nice. So I just was in the pool with my granddaughter. She's 3. And she said, oh, swim longer with me. And I said, no, I'm going to do a talk with Debra. And she looked in my eyes and she said, your breasts say no.
I love it.
And I said, you're right.
Yes.
My breasts are saying no, but my brain says Debra is waiting.
I know.
So we should often ask our breasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have a lot of intuition.
Yes.
And ask our yoni, what do you think about this person? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And am I safe opening here in front of them, right? Are they giving me the respect and the dignity? I love this. Angelika made me one, and it travels the world with me because I definitely share talk to the pussy and use it as my inspiration. But look at this. This is amazing. It does. It gives birth to its clitoris, right? But look at how it comes out. And this is what's amazing. Wow. And so beautiful.
So people can't believe that the form of the clitoris was detected in 1994. I was a 2-time mother when they found out that the clitoris is not only this.
Yeah, the tip, right? The hood, not at all.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
We were at the moon and somewhere else.
Right.
Without knowing that if you do an episiotomy, it could be that it
cuts the bulbs or the legs, right? And that severing sensation, which is just so tragic. And the fact that most providers
don't know.
This isn't in textbooks. It's not talked about in birth. And yet, when you look at what you've made, which is so beautiful, and you really see how the clitoral legs and bulbs go throughout the vagina, right? The labia, that's the G spot, all of that, you can say, this is an important part of pleasure in birth. It's pleasure in life.
Yeah. And it explained so many phenomena.
Yeah.
So Sheila Kitzinger, she did not know about the clitoris, but she always said that the episiotomy can really reduce your libido. Yeah. And now we know. Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah. Or we don't know why,
right.
But we should know.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why every woman and every partner really should think how to save that. Do the right positions in birth so that it does not give any reason or possibility to do an episiotomy.
Yeah, and use it for pleasure, right?
Yes.
If you look at how big the clitoris is, I mean, look at the size. It's 8,000 to 12,000 nerve endings. We're all unique. It's somewhere in there. And for those of you that have a penis, that's 3,000 to 4,000 nerve endings. So the clitoris, those of us with clitorises, we're really blessed with a lot of nerves for pleasure, and its sole purpose is pleasure. So how could it be left out of birth? So I love your call. Like, we all have to make our yoni, our pussy, whatever you call it. But this is fabulous.
Small talk was yesterday. Traveling with a clitoris is always fun.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
I wonder when they scan my luggage, right? What they think. What is this? Yeah. but I love that you, coming back to the doulas, like you really weave this into doula education. And I think in some ways, like that should just be education for every
Every
person.
person. I think every person should have a doula workshop, because if you don't give birth yourself, then a sister, a friend, and I see now more than ever coming in very young women, 18, 19, and they are totally on fire for that. And I know that some doula trainings say you have to be a really adult person or have children. And I say, these are the people we need with their peer group, They
Yes.
didn't give birth, but they know so much more than some academics know. They never something about birth. They really stand for a new desire for being educated before you are traumatized.
Yes.
And
And
this
prevent
happens,
that.
to prevent that. So I think we will prevent a lot of misinformation with these young doulas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you happen to live in Europe, you have to be in touch with doula trainings, and maybe I'll meet you here next year. And honestly, I would say if you live anywhere in the world and you'd like to visit Austria, coming here to Alicia, you're just getting a little look behind us. It's truly one of the most beautiful, peaceful places that I train. And because of Angelika's wisdom, you really have created a doula program that just is so inviting. And everyone that comes through it not only is an amazing doula, but they're empowered in their own life, in their own bodies, and they really birth that forward into the world. So if people are listening and they want to reach you, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the site of Alicia is Alicia, Y-S-A.
Yeah. S-I-A.
S-I-A.
Yeah.
Alicia.at or doulatraining.at.
Okay.
That's easy.
Yes. And like always, we put that in the show notes. So if you're listening and driving or walking, just come back to the show notes wherever you are. And if you have any questions for Angelika about her program, please reach out. I really thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Angelika, for all you're doing and for always bringing me in. It's truly an incredible pleasure, something I look forward to every year.
Yeah, so then we will have a long, happy, lucky, pleasurable doula life together.
Yes, thank you. And thank you all. We wish you pleasure. We always love your feedback. Please share comments, questions, thoughts, and we hope you'll join us next week on the next episode of the Orgasmic Birth Podcast. Bye.
Bye.